Okay, so yesterday we were doing in Masechet Psachim in Daf Hey, we came upon the concept of Gorem Mamon ke Mamon Dame. In other words, in English it will be something like an indirect monetary loss. So I just want to expand it a little bit as a preparation for the continuation of the shiur tonight. It's okay. You can sit closer. It's fine. It doesn't bother. It's fine. No, it's okay. So let's see first of all what's gorem mamon ke mamon dame. The definition will be davar she'ino beba'aluto shel ha'adam or she'ino shave klum. Something that is not directly owned by me, or its value was not that great. Hach ugorem lo mamon be'akifim. It causes me to spend money or to pay for it in an indirect way, and that's what we have in the Gemara in Daf Hey. We have it in Chavtet, and we have it also in Bava Kama over there when we were talking about regarding the Kedashim offering and so on and so forth. So the machloket in this din is there is a machloket. It's between Rabbi Shimon and Chachamim. There's two different opinions. That only according to Rabbi Shimon, he's the only one who holds that davar hagorem lemamon kemamon dame. That it means that if you have an indirect monetary loss, it is a monetary loss, and therefore you will have to pay, and we'll see, and so on. But according to Chachamim, it's lav kemamon dame, and that's the din that comes out from Bava Kama in Daf Ayin Aleph Amud Bet. Most of the poskim hold like we always would figure to be. We hold like Chachamim, because Yachid v'Rabim Halacha keRabim. So Rabbi Shimon versus Chachamim, so we go like Chachamim. However, Baal HaTeruma, in regards to the Ravad, holds like Rabbi Shimon, which is interesting. And Ktsot HaChoshen, if you have Ktsot HaChoshen, look in Ktsot HaChoshen, Shin Pei Vav Zayin Sof Davar Amatchil Harei. He refers to it over there. And I want to expand a little bit on the opinion of Rabbi Shimon so we understand. So for example for something that is not really owned by a person, it is not really has full ownership, is what we said before, Kodashim. A person needs to bring a korban, right? And a person is obligated, is responsible for this Kodashim, for their well-being, until he actually reaches the Beit HaMikdash. He's obligated, is responsible for them. So they're not his. He designated this sheep or whatever it is as a korban, so it's not his. He cannot use it. Becomes a hekdesh, but that will cause him monetary loss, because if they died or some damage happened to them, he has to bring other ones instead of. So he's responsible for that. So that's causing him to potential money loss. And if they didn't die, so his obligation is exempt, right? If they didn't die, obligation is exempt. Therefore, if a person steals the kodashim from the house of the person who owns them, from so-called the owner, according to Rabbi Shimon, he will have to pay kefel. He has to pay double. Why? Kefel. Why? Because the owner, the guy who has the kodashim, if there's something will happen to them, he would have to pay. He'll have to get a new one. So therefore, it's somewhat of an ownership on his behalf, since he's responsible. So according to Rabbi Shimon, you have to pay kefel. And Chachamim will be patur. Why? Because Chachamim hold davar agorem lemamon lav kemamon dame, and that's the sugya over there in Bava Kama, and that's what Rashi explained to us over there. Something for an example for something that is not really, it doesn't have really a monetary value to it, is, let's say, for example, gezel of chametz before the Pesach. A person comes in and he steals chametz before the Pesach. Okay, now somebody else comes after the Pesach, after this chametz is not worth anything, and he burns it. Right? Somebody else comes and he burns it. According to Rabbi Shimon, the person who burnt that chametz needs to pay the gazlan, the guy who stole it. That even though the chametz is not worth anything, still is davar hagorem lemamon, it's still something that he's somewhat responsible. Why? Because the gazlan, the person who stole it, is chayav b'achrayutan l'nigzal. He has to give it back to the person who stole it, right? So he will have to pay. So even though it doesn't have monetary value, because it was lost, you have to pay for it. Again, that's the Bava Kama in Tzadik Chet. Now the reason for this, or the source for that, the Lechem Mishnah in Halachot Geneva in Perek Bet Aleph states that Rabbi Shimon learns this din of Davar HaGorem LeMamon Kemamon Dame Mikoach HaSvara. It makes sense. And regarding Chachamim, there's a Machloket Acharonim. How did Chachamim get it? There's a Machloket Acharonim. The Lechem Mishneh, in the opinion on the Rambam, writes that they learned it from Psukim. Look over there in Halachot Gnevai, they learned it from the Psukim. What we call Kfilut HaMiutim, the usage of words. And it says Re'ehu, of Re'ehu, Velo Shel Hekdesh, of his friend, and not of a Hekdesh. Right? Lemiut, it comes little mayit. V'gonev mi bet ish, and a person who steals from the house of a person, velo mi hekdesh. So that's how they learn it. So therefore, Chachamim learned that re'ehu memaet secludes, removes a person who steals kodashim that is not chayav in their achrayut, in their responsibility, and therefore he will be patur. That's how Chachamim learn it. And the word gonev comes to seclude again a person who is gonev kodashim that is not chayav a person who gonev kodashim that is chayav in achrayut, and not like the svara of Rabbi Shimon that from the din of gorem davar hagorem lemamon kimamon dame, they don't hold like this, and therefore Chachamim learn from here that davar hagorem lemamon lav kimamon dame. That's how Chachamim learn it. However, the Achiezer, Chaim Ozer, does not agree with him. He's cholek on this opinion, and he writes that we didn't see anywhere that Chachamim need a pasuk, right? The lav kimamon dame. And look in Achiezer, we don't have it here, but look in Achiezer and Chelek Gimel. But it's also a svara. The Chachamim learn, Achiezer learned, the Chachamim learns it also besvara. And in the reason of Rabbi Shimon, that it says it's mamon dame, the Afike Yam wrote that there are two different possibilities. The first one, Gorem le mamon, causes monetary loss. He writes like this, Pirusho, it means shehapeula, that the action causes the owner to be mitchayev in monetary compensation. Gorem, causes, right? In other words, by the fact that the owner, I brought him to some kind of a loss. For example, somebody stole the kodashim that he was responsible for. He causes the owners to be mitchayev b'mamon. In other words, he has to pay for it. So is the cause, and therefore it is considered like he stole from the owner. Since, let's say, for example, let's say you have a sheep, right, and that sheep became a hekdesh. Now I like that sheep, and I'm stealing it from him. Now he will have to compensate that sheep, the cost of the sheep, because it becomes a hekdesh. So it's like I stole it from him, because he will have to pay. The end result is the same thing as if I stole it from him, who will have to replace it. Well, it's the same thing, even though it's not his. Right now it's the hekdesh, but since he's responsible for it, he will have to pay. So by the fact that he has to pay because of my action that I caused them, Gorohem, therefore it's like I stole it from him. So that's.
So you have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, I will have to pay because I caused him a damage.
So
if it was according to Chachamim, you're right. If it was according to Chachamim, it's not really his, right? Gorem mamon, lav mamon dame. So therefore, if I stole it from him, I don't have to pay him. Because who should I pay? The Eibishter, who should I pay? I mean, it's not his. Why should I pay him? It's not his. It's Kodashim. Okay, so it depends how we actually do that. Now the second one, in other words, so gorem mamon would be the action of stealing. That's the gorem mamon, ke mamon dame. Right? I stole from you, and because of that, you need to pay, so therefore I need to pay, and that's because of the achayut. The second one, gorem lemamon, means that the object itself, we expanded on the Gemara that we did earlier last night, that the object itself, in other words, the behemah of kodashim, causes the owners some kind of a monetary transaction over there. Why? Because al yedei ha-be'emah niftar michovato, right? By the be'emah, he's exempt from his obligation. The be'emah itself considered to be like his, because that's an extension of him, right? So therefore, it's considered to us, as far as we are concerned, that he has in the be'emah some kind of a zchut mamonit, some kind of let's call it a monetary share in it. Since he has a monetary share in it, right? So therefore that's the object. So the object becomes gorem lemamon, that caused me, some kind of a monetary transaction. So therefore it's like money. Not necessarily could be also not necessarily in loss, right? So therefore, and he added further that in the case like this, we have to be mechayev. There is a reason to be mechayev, a person who steals the kodashim, also mishum the din of grama or garme, according to Rabbi Meir, is mechayev in that he caused a hefsed, I cause a loss to the owner or to the person, not the owner, to the person who was responsible for it. I was the cause for that. I'm the gorem. So these are the concepts. Now, for example, this would expand itself also into different categories, different areas. Regarding nezikin, damages, the Gemara says, "Shedavar gorem lemamon ki mamon dame," and this is regarding a person who steals kodashim, who is, we said before, who is chayav in the achayut, and the din geneva is going to be, the din of stealing is going to be the din of like any other geneva, as is brought over there in Baba Kama and Daf Ayin Aleph. So whatever you pay, regular geneva will be careful, so here you'll have to be careful as well. Regarding kinyanim, acquisitions and so on, there's a tremendous chidush of the Pnei Yehoshua on Baba Kama Samech Vav Amud Bet. He writes that in a case like this of davar gorem lemamon ki mamon, is because a person can sell those kodashim that is under his responsibility, because they are like his mamon. If they're like my money, so therefore I can sell them, right? So, however, the Rav Shimon Shkab says that regarding kinyanim, we don't say that gorem lemamon ke mamon dame. Why? Because davar gorem lemamon only makes what he has a shayachut lemamon. It's not really like money. It is associated with money. Since it has shayachut lemani, it's like money.
The heritage can be sold.
I could get a better one. I could get. For example, if I see a better behema, right? Can I get a better behema? I redeem it.
Then you could sell the other one?
Let's say, for example, I have a sheep like this, right? Whatever. And I see a better one. Can I substitute this with this?
And then that one becomes...
So now this one becomes chulin, and this one... But I can only do so because of what?
The better one.
No, of course for a better one, but I can do so because it's mine. Mm-hmm. Right? If it's mine, if it wasn't mine, for example, if I give you my car to watch over. I'm going overseas, do me a favor, watch my car. Can you now start doing transactions on my car? No. But if it's your lease car, right? And you want to put some improvements on the car, could you do that?
If it's my leased car?
Yeah, you are leasing a car.
I take it off before I give it back to them.
But meanwhile you can do so. Why you can do it? Or you can just give it to them like this, right? It's not a problem. You can put a souped up exhaust or something like this, right? Because there's a certain kinyan and that is yours. It's almost like yours, right? So what Rav Shkaf said is that regarding kinyanim, we don't say kemamon dame, because davar agorem lemamon only makes shayachut to the money, but it's not like a complete ownership that you can have. And a complete ownership, he can do whatever he wants in it. But you're not a complete owner in that. Since you're not a complete owner in that, it's not really regarding kinyan kemamon dame. And of course, this all has to do with what we are doing regarding Pesach, in terms of the chametz in your possession or not your possession, and so on and so forth, and so on. Now, in this machloket, the Birkat Avraham in Psachim seems like Rav Shkap, holds like Rav Shkap. The whole entire din of Mamon Dame is only when you could be tovea the tashlumim, when you could ask for compensation that the Torah was mezakeh for the owners, which is kefel, arba'ah, v'chamisha, and so on and so forth. But it's not necessarily, you zochem midin what the Torah told you, but not because of your ownership mamash. Now, regarding the sh'ar dinim that you need ba'alim, like for example, afrashat teruma, or shen, or ayin, and so on and so forth of an eved, or yom or yomayim that writes the Birkat Shmuel on Yevamot, that lo mo'il shum gorem lamon, that the money does not, it doesn't apply, and tzarich liot ba'alim mamash. You have to be full owners in that matter. And he explains all this dinim, there is a gzerat katuv in the case when there is owner. When the case that there's no owner, that doesn't apply. Therefore, tzarich ba'alim mamash. You need mamash ba'alim for that. And only regarding the tviyah, the claim of kefel and other types of niske mamon, monetary losses or damages, then there is no gzerat katuv that sheyeh ba'alim. Only then you could do so. But however, you need to have a certain zchut tviyah ala hezek. You should have somewhat of an ability to place a claim on the damage itself. And in a case like this, when you could put a claim on it, then you could say gorem lemamon kemamon dameh. However, the Ktzot HaChoshen writes that davar gorem lemamon is mo'il also in regards to what we say the din of yom or yomayim, it's the machloket, and of the Birkat Avraham, and he holds like the Birkat Shmuel, that the whole din of mamon, of what we say kemamon dameh, is only when you could make a claim on the tashlumim, when the Torah was mezakeh for you. Other than that, you can't. Now, regarding davar sheyeshno be'ayin, the Ktzot HaChoshen writes that shelekule alme lo kemamon dameh. We don't consider it as a monetary losses. For example, let's say you have Reuven that sold his slave to Shimon, right? In order that he could continue working for Shimon for 30 days. He sold it for him so he can work for him for 30 days. So during those 30 days, Shimon does not have the din of Yom or Yomayim. And if you want to look further, you can look in Bava Kama and Daf Tzaddik Amud Aleph. And we don't say in a case like this, davar gorem lemamon kemamon dameh. Why? Since the Eved causes to Shimon some kind of association with money, after the 30 days is going to be his. But right now it's not his. So since the Eved, right, be'eved be'ayin enbo din gorem lemamon, he doesn't have the din of gorem lemamon to the Eved itself, and the din of gorem lemamon was said only when it's be'ayin. For example, when he stole him or he caused him damages or something like this, and by doing so, the ba'alim, the owners, would have a monetary loss. Therefore, it's kemamon dameh. Only when you cause, as a result of your actions, there's going to be owners monetary loss. Only then you'll be chayav. However, the Achiezer does not agree with the Ktzot HaChoshen, and he says also when it's not be'ayin, if it's going to be for sure his after time, not necessarily now, for sure, after a certain amount of time, 30 days or whatever, only then, also then we can say kemamon dameh. So now let's talk about davar sheyeh b'mamon be'atzmo le'achar zman, after time, and only now it's not mammon. Right now it's not money. Like for example, chametz shel ekdesh during the Pesach. Right now it's not mammon. Right now it's not kesef. It's not money. Why? Because I cannot do any business with it. The Torah asra the chametz. So right now I cannot do anything with it. But after the Pesach, I could do monetary transactions with it. For example, I could be podei it, and then I'm going to be able to eat it, right? So the Gemara in Pesachim in Daf Chavtet Amud Bet also postponed this din in the machloket where the davar agorem lemamon kemamon dame. It's also in this, so we're going to meet it again further down the road. And this is machloket mefarshim. Some say that it's machloket Rabbi Shimon and Rabbanan. Keshar davar agorem lemamon, like any other thing that it's davar agorem lemamon, as we say, monetary loss. And veyesh omrim, and there's some say that it's a different machloket. Why? Because here the chametz itself is going to be mammon after a while. Right now it's not, but later on it's going to be. And over there, it is just like anything else, keshar davar hagorem lemamon, like any other thing, that it is not, it itself is not going to be mammon, but it's going to cause something else. For example, the object itself is not the cause of the money, but rather, as we said previously, the action that was done to it. So therefore, if a person steals it, he will have to pay the kefil. So it's the distinction between the object and the action on the object itself. And that's why Rav Shkap also brings in Chidushim to Bava Kama that it's not domeh ledavar she'eino ra'ui yom letashmisho ve'ya'ui lachar zman b'derech hateva. It's not like something is going to be that's asur today, but later on naturally is going to be allowed to use further down the road. For example, a coat in the summer, right, is not appropriate to wear. You can wear it now, so it's going to be only during the winter, or barzel, a piece of metal, is only going to be appropriate only after you make a kli out of it. But right now, it's not really anything. So according to him, there is no machloket if it's kemamon dameh. Why? Because it's mamon mamash, velo rak gorem lemamon. It's money itself, and it's not something that would cause a monetary loss. That is the loss itself. And he explains the chiluk that davar she'eino ra'ui letashmisho hayom, something that is not appropriate to be used today, yeh ra'ui la'achar zman al yedei derech hateva, is going to be later on appropriate to be used, ve'lachen, and therefore nechshav bo kedavar achshav she'ra'ui le'enot mimeno la'achar zman. Even though I'm going to use it later on, naturally going to be able to use it later on, even now it will be considered to be something of appropriate, and therefore it's going to be a matter of a loss itself. So therefore it's going to be like a direct monetary loss, even though it's in its raw form or something like this. However, chametz in Pesach, that the Torah was asur, kol ma sheyeh ra'ui la'achar zman or al yedei heter haTorah, the only way that you could use the chametz is going to be because of the Torah permission for you to use it, heter haTorah. But right now, the Torah made it as an unusable item, and since the Torah made it into an unusable item, therefore there's no din of mammon to it. There's no value to it. Even though that later on, but it's only because the Torah made it for me available. For example, if I have chametz that a Jew did not sell in Pesach, I cannot use it, I cannot eat it. So what's the value of this kind of chametz? Nothing. What can I do with it? Nothing. I have to throw it away. Which is different than something that by itself is not isur. Here we're talking about the isur is the item itself. And since the isur is the item itself, there's no value to it. If I have a piece of metal, that right now it's worth nothing, but if I make a kli out of it, it's going to be worth a lot more. I see it as right now, this is how much it's worth. So there will be money itself. Because right now there's no isur on it. The fact that it's not usable, that's only because of its form right now. But later on, the form could become better. So as far as I'm concerned, there will be kemamon damage. There was being damaged. But chametz on Pesach, it's not the case. Chametz on Pesach, the Torah told you cannot use. What's the value of your chametz in Pesach that you didn't sell? Nothing. What can I do with it? Nothing. I can't do anything with it.
That's the whole Yisur.
That's the whole. Since it's exactly it. And who told you to do that? The Torah. So therefore, this case is different. And the heter is that the chidush that is going to come after Pesach. Therefore, right now there is no koach. There's no. It doesn't have any ability to cause any kind of damage and so on and so forth. And it's not mamon mamash. It's not money, core money by itself. Ela davar hagorem. It's secondary, right? It's a secondary thing. And the same thing is going to be, another thing is going to be davar shebirshut acherim, something in the possession of others. And I think about this also in regards to the interaction that we have with chametz and so on and so forth. Is, let's say, for example, you give a kuti, you give him chametz b'matana, right? Say, here, take this bread or this flour. I'm giving you this chametz as a gift in order for you to give it to me back after the Pesach, right? So now, this is also not considered to be gorem lemamon. Why? Because right now is kanui leacher. Right now, the kuti owns it, and his reshut of his ownership is on it. Because right now it's in his possession, right? Like for example, when let's say a person doesn't have a lulav and etrog, and you said to him, "Give it to you matana." I'm giving you a matana al menat leachzir. I'm giving you as a gift, but in intention for you to give it back. Is it really considered to be yours to make a bracha to shake it? The answer is yes, because when I give you the lulav, matana menat leachzir, right now it's yours.
But you can't do anything with it.
I can make a bracha with it.
I'm saying you can't, with money-wise, do anything. I mean, you can't break it. You can't sell.
Yeah, the question will be like, what's fine? I took the etrog, I took the lulav, and you know that you gave it to me. I said, good, I don't want to give it to you. That's the whole thing. Why we don't give it to a kid, because if you give it to a kid, who makes the kinyan? His father makes the kinyan, and his father didn't have any doubt to be cornered this. The kid gives it back to you. It becomes a whole big balagan.
Stealing, no?
I'm sorry? It could be, yes, it could be.
And also the bracha won't be retroactive in that case.
That's right. But why is this? But when you give me your lulav to shake as a matana, right now, who owns it? Me, I own it. Because you gave it to me. So I'm making the lulav, and then how do I give it back to you? I say, here, I'm giving you a gift back.
So this second guy can now give it to another guy? Does that
That's
make
not
right?
It's that's a question. You know, how much? If it was completely yours, so therefore you can give it to him, you can give it to him, give it to anyone. That's completely yours, and that's what we said previously. Is it considered to be complete your ownership? The answer is no, because you cannot go and give it to somebody else. So what will be the case, and then we need to think about it, what will be the case if I give you a gift of a lulav and a trog, and somehow we get blemished? Now that's the question. Do I have to pay? Oh, I'm sorry, I gave it to you, and you damaged the lulav or the etrog. Do you have to pay, or you don't have to pay?
Depends on who, yeah.
Depending.
I'm sorry, depends how we call it. If it will be like Rabbi Shimon, yes, you will have to pay. Because it's Gemamon Dam, and it costs me. So if
But the thing is, you didn't give it to him. You can't count it as mamon because you didn't give it to him as mamon, meaning he can't do anything with.
yeah, so that's exactly how we deal with this. Is gorem kemamon, gorem lemamon kemamon dam? Is that considered to be yes or no in terms of that?
Yeah.
Let's just finish it like this. And now, hold on. And so therefore, if he since he gave it to the kuti, and there is the reshut of the kuti on it, therefore for sure it's not in my reshut, and it's not in his mammon right now, and it's only gorem le mammon, right? Now, when there's no other person, zchut bo, I can only say it's gorem lemamon only when nobody else has a claim on that etrog. In other words, if Zalman and I bought a etrog and lulav, very expensive one, we made shutfut on it. So I shake it and he shake it, we shutafim in this lulav. Can I give it to Michael without his acknowledgement? The question will be no. Why? Because it's not my full ownership. Maybe he has an objection. Now, if I did give it to Michael and then Michael did damage to it, does he have to pay me or doesn't have to pay me? Well, that's exactly what it is. It says, it's not komamon unless you have full ownership to it. So technically speaking, if we are partners in that thing and I gave it to him without his consent and he broke it, he doesn't have to pay for it.
You have to pay for it.
But that's a different case. That's already the claimant, but he doesn't have to pay for it. So
Is that way that considered mamon or no?
that would not consider be mammon.
Exactly.
No, because it's not for me to pay. And again, only when there is cases like this, we say gorem ke mammon is considered to be like mammon when there's full pledge ownership on it, that that it's only yours and so on and so forth. But when there is multiple cases like this, it's not. And that will be the case, for example, if there is, as we said yesterday, let's say what will happen if we have a goy and I sold him my whiskey and then I broke the whiskey during the Pesach. Do I have to pay? I don't have to pay. Who has to pay? If have to pay, and so on and so forth. Is there a chayut for him? Am I a shomer for him or not? So that's exactly what we do, and that's what we deal with the whole concept of partnership with the goy, selling the chametz of the goy. What happens if we go and we have partnership in the behema, or we have a partnership in chametz, and so on and so forth, and then something happens? How much of the ownership is it in order to be determined? Do I need to get rid of it during Pesach? Well, I don't have to get rid of it during Pesach. So hopefully they will help you a little bit with this concept so we can continue with the Gemara today.